It seems like all too often, big car manufacturers are issuing major car recalls. But do those potentially dangerous defects get fixed? And how many are still on the road? An Action News I-Team investigation discovers a substantial number of recalled vehicles go unfixed. And legally, the dealer never has to let you know. And that could put your life at risk.
It was terrifying to me. You know, another 5 minutes and my house would have been in flames.
Brad Anderson will never forget that first day of September back in 2009 when his 2000 Grand Prix GT caught on fire.
There was steam coming out of the front of the car. And so I thought, well, I must have blown a radiator hose. So I opened the hood to try and let the steam out. And thinking I was going to get steamed, I backed off. And when I did, flames came rushing out.
Anderson says he was unaware he was driving a vehicle that had an open safety recall warning of engine fires.
The recall was for a leak that was coming down here and landing on the manifold below and apparently catching fire.
He also says he doesn't remember receiving a notice from the dealership about that recall issued by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. But legally, the dealer didn't have to send one.
Even though new car dealerships are forbidden from selling any vehicle with an open recall, used car dealerships don't have that similar requirement. And experts believe that millions of cars are still on the roads right now with open recalls, or they're sitting in a lot available to an unknowing consumer.
This is an accident waiting to happen.
Clarence Ditlow is the executive director for the Center for Auto Safety in Washington. He says experts believe 25% of all cars that have been recalled are never fixed, and says better regulation of these open recalls needs to happen now.
Every safety defect is serious, and every safety defect should be fixed because they could cause a crash, they could result in a fire, they could cause additional injury in the event of a crash.
But the National Automobile Dealers Association opposes any legal mandate that would prohibit a dealer from selling a vehicle with open recalls. Douglas Greenhaus, the NADA Director of Environmental Health and Safety, said in a statement, quote, "If you think it makes commercial sense to find out if there's any recall for that VIN and incur the costs for remedying it, you will impose major costs and burdens on used car commerce." So how do consumers stay better informed about which cars have open recalls?
Last year alone, there were 20 million recalls in the United States.
Tom Castriota, the owner of Castriota Chevrolet and the chairman of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, believes the federal government should create a database that could be used by dealers and mechanics to cross-reference VIN numbers.
Maybe at some point, the National Highway Safety Transportation Administration establishes some website that you could put serial numbers on there, at least from between the consumer and potentially service facilities, car dealerships, can put a serial number in just to see if there's a recall in it.
But until there's a working system in place to check all recalled vehicles or the law for used dealerships is changed, Ditlow worries about every consumer who buys a used car.
Buyer beware. I mean, you have a safety defect in that vehicle in about 25% of the cases, and that defect can kill you.
The NADA urges every car owner who receives a recall notice to have that vehicle inspected and fixed at no charge. And the association says owners of pre-owned vehicles can contact their nearest authorized dealer to determine if a recall has been issued. Meanwhile, we've also linked several car manufacturers to our website. Just go to abcactionnews.com/links.